Walete ng'ombe mheshimiwa, itakuwa ni mzuri.
Watoto waambiwa walete ng'ombe.
Vitu kubwa mheshimiwa.
Nini mbaya na wewe?
Wewe ndio unanifanya kabisa ni free because the way you remind me of my mama.
Niangalia na hiyo macho yako ukaona ni kama hakuna mtu umeona.
Sasa unakuja hapa hata utoangi tip na saa yote ni deni hata ni
unajua kitu inaitwa buffet.
Naijua buffet chini watu wazee wanajibunika nayo. Hii inakaa kama blanketi ni nono kidogo.
Niko chini ya miti mali. Kuna miti niko chini yake ya green. Niache upusi.
Jenny?
Yeah?
I need to talk to you now.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't your fault. And sooner or later, I'd beg you to come back.
She knows everything?
She knows you helped her.
What I mean is, does she know you're pretending to be her? Don't worry. Since I promised you, I will keep it a secret for you.
I've noticed that most people don't care about printed media anymore. They prefer new media and also social networking.
But we already have.
Hey, what's wrong, Charlie?
Hey!
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
Well, it is Monday, the 20th day of March, the year is 2023. And of course, as expected, today, the opposition leaders, together with their supporters, they have been engaging police in running battles, not only here in Nairobi, in Kisumu, in Migori. And of course, without our borders in South Africa, it has been the case with the national shutdown taking place in many towns and cities across South Africa. But we want first of all to go here in Kenya and of course see what the situation is right now. My name is O'Brien Kimani and this is Lunchtime News. Let's first of all go to the board. In Kisumu County, you know, there were fracas in CBD Center and in Kondele. Then in Migori County, Migori Town Center, there was a lot of chaos, you know, pitting opposition supporters and security agencies. In Nairobi County, I mean, Jogoo Road was a no-go zone, especially in the morning. At least now the situation has somehow managed to calm down with security agencies intervening. In Kayole, it was the same thing. Gara, which is not far off from where we are, somehow the police have managed to cordon off the area, and so there's minimal traffic. You know, for you to come to the city center or get out of the city center, you have to go through a number of security checks. In Kibra, this was like the epicenter of the fracas. We saw police officers in their hundreds engaging with supporters of the opposition in Kibra, whereby, you know, a number of roads were blocked and vehicles were pelted with stones. And of course, we understand some few people were injured there, but of course, we're waiting for more information, which is expected to come from the police. As well, Central Business District area, especially the areas around City Hall Way, Parliament Road and Mamangina Street. It was a no-go zone as opposition protesters, as well as some leaders in the opposition engaged police in running battles the whole morning and some parts of the afternoon. Gong Road, as I told you, it was completely barricaded by protesters, and so you could not access the city center using Gong Road unless you tried other roads. But the most unfortunate thing is that the other avenues for you to access the city center using Gong Road, they were also cordoned off, and so you're looking at Ladis Road, there was problem there, among many other roads that leads to city center. In Mathare, of course, another area where there was a lot of problems, but as we speak, police have managed to cool down the situation. Let's now go down to South Africa, whereby, remember, the economic freedom fighters led by Julius Malema have also called for a national shutdown, and what they want is for the resignation of South African President Cyril Ramaphosa together with his entire cabinet. And so they're trying to press the leading ANC party, or African National Congress, to try to fire Cyril Ramaphosa together with his entire cabinet. And so there was a lot of disturbances. Actually, as we speak now, there's still a lot of trouble in Johannesburg CBD, areas around Kempton Park and Sisulu Avenue, as well as in Kimberley, the CBD, Sandstone City. All these places were no-go zone in the morning, and of course we still understand that there are still a lot of disturbances in this area. The same was repeated in West Rand, and of course the city of Shwane. There was problems still, Pietermaritzburg, as well as Khayelitsha in Cape Town. Now we want to go to the Nairobi CBD, where our reporter Beatrice Gatonye is on standby to give us the latest and of course what is happening there. Let's now go to CBD. Beatrice Gatonye, if you can hear me, what is the latest that is happening in CBD? Yeah, Beatrice Gatonye.
Thank you very much, Obran Kimani. I'm coming live to you from City Hall Way. What I mean is where we are right now. On my right, we have City Hall. On my left, we have KICC building. And on the far end, on the left, we have the Supreme Court. This place has been an area of interest because protesters since morning, or the better part of the morning, they've been trying to access KICC, where Azimio leader Raila Odinga was to meet them here to address them and to proceed with the protests. And the whole morning, the protesters have not been able to access this place because the police had barricaded all these roads around this area, like many other roads that we saw in the morning. I mean, the police presence here was very heavy, or was heavy in the morning. Right now, it's a bit calm because the protesters have been pushed away by the police. So they have not been able to come here. And earlier on in the morning or around midday, some of the Azimio leaders, including Nairobi Senator, including Omolo Otiende, and many other, Babu Wino, among other leaders of Azimio leaders, made their way here. And when they tried to move to where the protesters were, they were scattered. The police fired tear gas canisters on them, and they were scattered. They never managed to get to where the protesters were. And in the process, a minority leader, Senate, Stewart Matayo, was arrested, and minority leader as National Assembly, Wandayo Pio, was also arrested, among other leaders who were arrested. We saw police making some arrests of some people who or some of the protesters in the morning. But right now, what I can say, this area where I am right now is quite calm. People are going on with their businesses, but nothing much is happening because most of the shops have been closed, have been around town, and most of the business people have closed their shops. And this is fear of what could come out of these protests today. This is as much as yesterday Nairobi Police Commander had said that nothing much was expected since he had declared today's protest illegal, and he had not, probably the police had not expected that much would happen like what happened this morning. Like we saw quite a number of protesters making their way to the CBD. But right now we are here just trying to see whether the Azimio leader will make his way here, where he had asked his protesters or his supporters to make their way so that he can address them. So we're here to just see how the rest of the day will turn out. But in the morning it was quite busy because the protesters were really trying to make their way here, using all the routes. But the police presence here was quite heavy, and they did not manage to make their way here. Like I have said, quite a number of arrests have been made, but we are here to see how the rest of the day will turn out. Back to you, O'Brien Kimani. From me, Beatrice Getonye Ngetich.
Well, that's our reporter, Beatrice Gatonye, who is stationed in Nairobi CBD. And let me tell you for sure, she's really suffered. The whole morning, she was just inhaling nothing more but tear gas after police and demonstrators, were engaging each other. We want now to cross over to the city of Mombasa. We just want to understand how the situation is down there. And our reporter, Mwandiga, is also there. He's about to give us the latest of what is happening there. Mwandiga, if you can hear me, give us an overview of how the situation is in Mombasa.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, my brother there at the broadcasting house, O'Brien Kimani. Indeed, Mombasa is just calm, and we've experienced calm since the wee hours of the morning. And as demos are going on in Nairobi, in Mombasa, residents have experienced calmness with businesses up and running. And some traders we had talked to earlier on this morning say despite the calmness and things are just quite slow, the business are just quite slow, they're not as usual. And ahead, just across from where I'm standing, we are talking to motorists, and they're saying that they are happy with the calmness they have experienced from the wee hours of the morning as the travelers are boarding vehicles and going to their designated places where they're going. And so far, calmness has been experienced in Mombasa County since morning, and I'm hereby joined by residents of Mombasa County just to bring us up to speed. Ndugu, tueleze tu kwa majina, unaitwa nani na hali jinsi ilivyo kwa sasa? Mmeona kwamba hakujakuwa na maandamano Mombasa, hali kumekuwa shwari. Hali hii mnasemaje?
Kwa majina naitwa Victor Piata. Tumefurahia huku Mombasa tujaona maandamano, lakini tunafuatilizia, tunaona kule Nairobi watu wanakimbia huku na huku wakifukuzana na mapolisi wanafanya maandamano. Sisi pia tumekaribisha hiyo maandamano huku Mombasa, lakini ya amani, si ya kumbizana kama ya Nairobi. Sisi hatutaki fujo. Asante.
Sawa, shukrani sana ndugu. Hali Mombasa kumekuwa na hali ya utulivu. Labda unaweza kuambia nini wananchi, maana biashara zimekuwa sawa na shughuli zinaendelea kama kawaida?
Ndio mheshimiwa, kwa majina naitwa Kennedy Wekesa. Vile umesema, Mombasa tumeshuhudia utulivu wa hali ya juu kuanzia jana, leo asubuhi mpaka sasa hivi tunavyoongea, utulivu uko sawa sawa. Polisi wameimarisha doria, wafanyikazi wamefungua maduka, mabasi na kama kawaida, hamna shida yote, kazi ndio kama kawaida. Na sisi tunaambia Mheshimiwa William Ruto na Mheshimiwa Kindiki, usalama uimarishwe hivyo hivyo. Hata kule Nairobi pia kuwe na amani, kusiwe na maandamano yote. Kenya isichafuke, Kenya ni yetu sisi wote, tuendelee mbele.
Naam, shukrani sana ndugu. Pia karibu, nijuze tu kwa majina yako, unaitwa nani na hali jinsi ilivyo kwa sasa? Kumekuwa na utulivu mkubwa umeonekana Mombasa, labda ungependa kuambia nini wana Mombasa?
Kweli wasikilizaji mahali popote mlipo, ikiwa katika runinga ya KBC, kwa jina langu najulikana kama Bwana Mohamed Oremo, mkaaji mwana sarakasi wa Mombasa. Ikiwa basi kutokana na kuwa kweli elimu inasaidia, basi wana Kenya wengi wameelimika, na hivi sio kama ile ukumbavu tuliokuwa nao nyuma. Maana siku hizi wana binadamu wao, mwananchi wa kawaida wa Kenya imefika mahali wanajielewa kwa wale ni watu ambao wanajitakia mazao, wana binafsi, ni watu wanajitakia. Kwa hivyo sivyo vile watu wangekuwa wameandamana, waache shughuli yao, biashara yao na waende waandamana ili bahali watakurudi bila chochote ya kukula, basi inamaanisha kuwa wananchi wetu wameelimika na tunapongeza. Na mambo kama yale kama taendelea, kitu ile ambapo sisi wananchi wa Kenya ambao tungetaka kusana ni amani, kukuwe na amani na tupendane. Ila hasha nasema hivi, tuombe Mwenyezi Mungu atujalie nchi yetu siku moja tusije tukakuwa kama vile Syria, Sudan, Kongo. Ni jambo lingine ambalo ni hatari katika maisha na tusitarajie katika nchi yetu. Kwa hiyo machache, sina mengi sana kuongezea, ikiwa nashukuru sana, karibuni sana katika mahojiano yenu. Tutapanapo majaliwa Mwenyezi Mungu tutazidi kukutana inshallah.
Asante, shukran sana. Now is as they put it, residents here in Mombasa County that they have experienced that calmness from the wee hours of the morning. Businesses are up and running, though traders are saying that business are quite slow, and motorists, as I had alluded earlier on, they are saying that those who are traveling are boarding vehicles and traveling to their designated destinations. There's been calmness, and taking into account today is students are going back to school after they were home for half term, and things are just well here in Mombasa County. And as they say in Mombasa hakuna matata, na wanaomba tu ile amani and things moving forward. They're just asking the security apparatus to ensure that law and order is enforced all over in the nation. Back to you, O'Brien.
This is our correspondent Mwandiga there, giving us an overview of what's happening in Mombasa. And of course, you have heard it from the resident there. There's nothing much to talk about. It's peaceful. It's another working day, and there is no cases of violence or demonstrations reported there. And so we're just keeping an eye on what exactly is going to happen in the coming hours. Now, Azimio members of parliament want minority leadership of the bicameral parliament to be released within 2 hours. The two, Opio Wandayi and Stewart Mazayo, were arrested during Mandamano this morning. Now, earlier on, they addressed the press, and now we just want to listen in what they say outside Harambee House.
Thank you.
Maandamano tunakuwa na pesa yetu.
Kwanza kabisa nataka kushukuru wafuasi wetu wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya kwa kujitokeza kwa wingi na leo kuchukua hatua na kusimama na baba vile amesema leo ni siku ya likizo, kwa sababu imeonekana wazi ya kwamba nchi hii inahitaji mabadiliko kulingana na vile mambo iko katika nchi yetu leo. Kila sehemu ya nchi hii watu hawajaenda kazi, watu wanaandamana. Hiyo ni dhihirisho ya kwamba watu wana shida, watu wana matatizo na wanahitaji hiyo matatizo kutatuliwa. Ya pili, tunataka wale viongozi wetu ambao wameshikwa, minority leader ya Senate na minority leader ya National Assembly, unconditional. Tunapatia serikali ambayo wametumia polisi kwa njia ambayo haifai, wawachilie kwa masaa mawili, in 2 hours. Those leaders must be released unconditional. La sivyo mambo yatakuwa mbaya zaidi. Ya tatu na ya mwisho ni ya kwamba mimi nataka kusema hivi. Nchi hii ni ya Wakenya wote. Na polisi wajue ya kwamba inafaa watumikie Wakenya wote, sio Wakenya wachache. Kwa sababu vile polisi wametumika leo njia hii, maandamano zinafanyika dunia nzima. Kuna maandamano yanaendelea huko Faransa, kuna maandamano yanaendelea huko Uingereza, kuna maandamano yanaendelea South Africa, kuna maandamano yanaendelea Nigeria, kuna maandamano yanaendelea huko Tunisia. But the most violent one is in Kenya, just because it's perpetuated by the state, by the police. Yeah. So this culture must come to an end. One culture that must end with this Mandamano of 2022 is police brutality in Kenya. This one must end, so that next Mandamanos of 2027 and 2032 and 2055, we have peaceful Mandamano in Kenya. That is why the Constitution and Article 37, they have allowed Kenyans to picket and demonstrate. What is the police supposed to provide security? Look at the way they were behaving in front of KICC. KICC is not a police station. KICC is a public property. It was built using Kenya's taxpayers' money. Anyone has access to it. Anyone can use it for anything. You can even go and sleep there if you want. Please, this is the beginning of the... I think today was just a rehearsal. The real one is coming. Thank you very much. René?
I just want to say, number one, that police are being misused in this process. As we speak right now, they have withdrawn security for all the MPs and all the senators. And we have to tell them, if you withdraw security, Wananchi will still protect us. And we'll all still fight for the things that are affecting Kenyans. Secondly, there are some people who are saying that when Baba declared today a public holiday, that he should have done a gazette notice. I want to tell you that Baba himself is a human gazette notice. If he says today is a day that we are out there fighting for Kenyans, for the things that Kenyans deserve, then we are out there. And this is not the end of it. So I just want to urge everyone, even the people back at home in Busi, let us join together and let us fight for this country.
Thank you very much, members of the press. I just want to say that this is just a taste of it. We are going to do this as long as Baba says we fire. And the way it is, as it were, I really want to empathize with the position of armed officers, the police officers who are in plain clothes harassing wananchi. And I want to tell them, because I saw one officer akirusha tear gas na akaanguka. This officer must have been very hungry. If we are hungry as Kenyans, it's not only leaders who are hungry, it's not wananchi who are hungry. It is all Kenyans, including the officers. And I want to tell our officers, we are fighting for you. We are fighting for you to be even given money so that you run your families. So leave us alone. This is what we are paying.
Well, those are opposition legislators who were speaking earlier on outside Harambee House, that is Harambee Avenue, after they were tear gassed away from County Hall, and they proceeded to Harambee Avenue, where they were seeking audience with the country's leadership. Now we want to take you to Kibra, where our reporter Regina spent the whole morning there tracking the happenings, and now she's about to give us what was happening in Kibra. Regina.
And asked the protesters not to hurl projectile stones and other crude weapons at the police. It has intensified. There's a lot of tear gas, and allow us not to be on shot. But as you can see, they're preparing to now deploy some tear gas and also some, we understand it's pepper water from the truck to just try and quell the crowd that has been having, or rather they've been holding a standoff between the security and them. As you can see, we're trying to remain safe so that, you know, there you go. That's the charge. This is live. They're charging into the crowd. But it seems that even the armored truck in itself with the debris the debris and the stone, it can only go so far. But we're waiting to see what is going to happen. Maybe this is going to be the last charge that is going to dissuade the protesters from continuing with this particular protest from this point. It seems that particular charge there by the security personnel that is trying to quell the protests that are ongoing have somewhat dissuaded the protesters right here at DC. This is an intersection from Kibra all the way to Ngong Road, and we are trying to remain safe. And that is what the security has told us. We need to remain safe because they cannot assure of our security, especially if we are within range of those projectiles. We are seeing stones, we are seeing sticks being hurled at the security contingent there. That particular charge there has dissuaded the protesters further into the slum. We hope that it's not going to escalate. At some few minutes there, we had also a civilian trying to calm this particular bunch of protesters, but it seems they have not listened to what they're saying, and this particular charge from the truck is meant to just take the offense to the protesters there who have been holding a stalemate for the last 1 to 3 hours. Allow me to get off camera, Wahome, so that we can actually watch where the stones are flying from to avoid grievous harm. But that is just an update from DC. Back to you, studio.
Well, that was earlier, Ron, when Regina was tracking the happenings in Kibra. You have heard from her, and of course you have seen how police and of course the protesters were engaging with each other. Now we understand the situation is somehow calm, and but of course we cannot say with certainty that it's over. We are still keeping an eye on what's happening in Kibra, among many other places. We also have our reporters in CBD who are tracking what's happening with the business community, and we shall be going there. But for now, we need to take a breather. A commercial break is what we start, and thereafter we'll be back together and of course share more. Stay right here.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial star 811 star 967 hash.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial star 811 star 967 hash. Star 811 star 967 hash.
Unajua siku hizi wateja wanatulipa na simu sana. Na hiyo si shida, hiyo ni poa sana by the way. Lakini sasa shida inatokea, wengine wetu wanachukua hizo namba za wateja, alafu wanaanza kugawana huku nje kama njugu. Bana, inatuharibia kazi.
In this digital era, it's normal to collect information for your client. But if you're collecting information for the client, it's important that you secure it and use it for the intended purpose.
Ujumbe letwa kwako na ofisi ya Data Protection Commissioner.
Yakadambea werarkan.
Message. Nimesikia tu fununu kwamba hii Seldigan by usiku haitakuwepo.
Sikiza. Na nikamdosia nikasirika kwa vita vitumikaza mguu kidogo, sawa?
Ibuchi kamera za border crossing point zote sahi.
Ati?
Kamera za border crossing point zote sahi.
Tumechezo.
Roll out! Move! Huyu jamaa unaona kiwa credible kweli?
Tuta find out soon.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the hustler fund?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, how do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. You're watching Lunchtime News, the most comprehensive bulletin on the land. We're just keeping tabs of what's happening around the country in terms of the mass talk about demonstrations by opposition. And now we want still to go back to the Nairobi CBD just to check around how business has been affected by the demonstrations. Remember, the CBD is the heartbeat of our economy. And of course, when you have challenges there, you expect the economy to have some bearings. And so let's listen in to what Hibak has to tell us. Hibak, give us an update on how the business environment is in Nairobi CBD.
Business district, the heart of business in the capital. And we've been seeing how things have been going on since 9 a.m. this morning and how businesses have been affected by the ongoing riots. Just a few moments ago, there were people who are running behind me, but now, of course, they have been dispersed. The security are taking very, very keen interest in ensuring that the business district is kept safe. The businesses have been closed since 9 a.m. We have been able to speak to some business people, and they have told us that they open normally as they always do in the morning at 8 a.m. But by 10 a.m. there were riots, there were protests, and they had to close down. That's when the security came in, and we've been walking around Nairobi Central Business District, trying to see where exactly there are riots, where there aren't riots, where the businesses are going on normally and where they aren't going normally. With me, I have one of the people who are in the Matatu business, Metro. If I am not wrong, if you can just start by introducing yourself, and if you could just tell us, how has business been today? How have you seen things happening?
David Maina. I work with the Super Metro company. The business in the morning was good, but from 10 a.m. the business went so bad after the rioting started. You can see all the shops were closed, all the passengers went home. Now we are still struggling here without passengers here at our stage. You can see how it is now in CBD. We are losing business. We are losing a lot. Like today, when you can see, we usually operate more than 300 vehicles. But you see now, there is no vehicles are going to parking, drivers are going to parking. We have no passengers. Today we are going to have a big loss.
We were here with you since around 1 p.m. and we were seeing you trying to coordinate routes on where it's safe for matatus to pass, where it's not safe for matatus to pass. How are you finding the navigation of the city at this moment?
Once we are using our inspectors, we have just posted them through all our routes. They are the one we are talking with them to know how we are going to navigate our vehicles. When you see there is a route in Thika Road, we go to Ngong Road. If it is in Ngong Road, we go to Kangundo Road. Wajakiwe, we are just doing that for us to save the revenue which we get on a daily basis.
And how about security? How have the police been handling the situation as people who have been here and who have been seeing how the ongoing protests have affected the central business district?
The security is good, it's helping us. Well, the problem is the tear gas because they don't differentiate people who are working and who are rioting. The tear gas is which is affecting us a lot. We must carry water throughout because without water you can't survive here.
And maybe as we conclude, if you could just tell us now, it's the end of business day, it's almost 5 p.m. A lot of businesses no longer have any way to recover or to gain back the money that they have already lost. What would you say about that?
For now, we can say we have lost. The day is gone. We have lost. We can say now we have lost the game.
Thank Thank you so much. And that is what the business people are saying. Of course, we're still parked here and we're still seeing what is going on at the Central Business District, just at the junction at Tom Mboya and Haile Selassie. We've seen a lot of destruction, and that's where mostly the riots were happening. But if you move towards this other side and through Uptown all the way to Kencom, you can find that there's a little bit of peace. Some businesses have been opening and closing, and they're just trying to see how things are going. And as things move on, we must give it back to you in studio. Back to you in studio.
Well, the crowd there becoming a bit unruly there. Our reporter, Said Mohammed in Nairobi CBD. She's at the junction of Mamangena Street and Moi Avenue, and as you can see, there is nothing much happening there, but at some point you could hear what sounded like a canister being lobbied by police officers, and of course, as you can see, there was a little bit of some lull. It seems like there is some level of calmness that is resuming in the Nairobi Central Business District, but of course it's good to stay alert and of course be cautious of what's happening around you. Well, we are keeping tabs of the demos and how they are affecting the business and of course our normal lives. And now we want to go to the county of Migori, whereby also business was disrupted and there was running battles between demonstrators and police officers. Let's now see some of the clips that we managed to capture from Migori County.
Tunaandamana kwa amani. Na baba alisema leo ni public holiday.
Hatuwezi tukarudi nyuma. Na maisha ni ngumu hadi tutafanya maandamano.
Kile hatutaki ni kwamba tusiharibu kitu ya mtu yoyote, kuingia kwenye duka la mtu, kuvunja kila kitu ya mtu. Hiyo ndio hatutaki, na kuwasha moto barabarani.
Maisha ni gumu kwetu. Uchumi ni gumu, hata kuna Kenya tunaweza fanya. Hata Kenya tunakuna. Lazima tuende maandamano, tutafute right yetu. Tufanye maandamano kwa amani. Mapolisi utuache tufanye maandamano kwa amani.
Migori County, and let's now cross over to the county of Nakuru and see what exactly was happening or is happening in Naivasha town.
We have tasted chaos and we don't want anything to happen again. We cannot accept. So what we have said, tunataka amani. Lakini pia Hatutaki mali ya wananchi haribiwe. That one will not accept.
Na tunataka kushukuru sana supporters wetu wa chama chetu cha UDA ambao hata kama wamekuwa provoked sana na hawa watu wenye tulishinda kura, wamekuwa restrained na wameweka amani.
Leo Kenya ikiungua au vijana hawaza kuwa na maisha. Ndio maana leo tumetokea hapa tukisema kwamba kama vijana hatuwezi kubali Kenya iende kwa njia yenye inaenda. Tumesema kama ni watu wanaandamana wasijaribu kuuza mali ya watu.
Time now to shift gears and of course look at what has been happening in the world of business. And of course you know for sure that business around Nairobi city center was completely disrupted. Even as we speak now, you don't have so much business activities taking place there. And for sure you know that Nairobi is the economic as well as diplomatic and political heartbeat of the region. And so when there are challenges in Nairobi, you do expect the economy of the country and as well as the regional economy to bear some feelings. And now joining me in studio is George Mboro. He's the CEO of Mizizi. He's a businessman. He knows how it feels when the economy is not performing so well. He's about to share with us his insight on what is happening and of course probably maybe give solutions as to how the issues should be dealt with. Thank you very much, George, for joining us this afternoon. I first of all want to hear from you as a businessman and as a member of the business community in Kenya. How has this day affected your operations?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And with your question, for sure, some parts of town, CBD especially, we have seen people have shied away from opening up their businesses, and this is because of the expected chaos that come with the call for people to do the rioting, and I mean to do the peaceful demonstrations. So we have seen people have shied away from opening their businesses, and that is to avoid having the losses. So I think people have taken precaution, which is a very good thing. It is better you close and lose the business for the day rather than you open and the goods are taken away. Yeah.
I mean, it's also proper to say that it is not the entire Nairobi County that was affected by these disturbances. Of course, we had some pockets where business was taking place. Do you have any idea where?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, apart from the few shops that have been closed in the CBD, a majority of the other areas, things are moving on as usual. We have not had any major businesses closing down because of the call. And we are happy because we have seen for sure people what people want is to do business. And what we are calling upon is that conducive environment for the business people, because everybody, including the government itself, has a big interest with business. Because when business is doing well, basically the economy is doing well. Yeah.
So we know that Nairobi is the economic as well as the diplomatic and political heartbeat of this country. What do you think will happen if this situation was to prevail?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. The good thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen in the days to come, is that these protests have been planned not only here in Kenya, as you have reported. It is also happening in South Africa. It is also happening in Tunisia. It is also happening in Nigeria. So it means...
It's also happening in France.
Also in France, and you have mentioned also England. So I think basically the people, what they want, the governments is to hear, is that the people have the say. So basically, I think for today, when we look at it from the broader perspective, I think there's a message that is being passed by actually what now the media should be able to report is by who exactly and what is a message. But we know basically in Kenya, the young people, they have been crying because of lack of jobs, and I don't know why that is, if that is the case for the whole, the entire countries that are protesting. But we know in Kenya there have been that problem of young people not having jobs, which is something that the politicians mostly have taken advantage of, because we basically know a hungry man is an angry man. So a hungry man is very easy to provoke to anger using emotions. So if it is the case of having the young people to get employment or to have their food on the table, that is what we need to address. Because for sure we know Africa and Africans, we have a majority of the population being young people. And when the young people are not engaged economically, you find that there is a lot of idleness. You also find there is a lot of anger, because a hungry man is an angry man. Yeah.
You see, at least it's proper to say that in many parts of Nairobi, I mean, industrial area, you know, companies were afraid of opening. Sure. Nairobi CBD, I mean, businesses have been closed. Sure. And it's likely to take probably maybe a few days before now we can resume normalcy. Sure. What impact will this have on your businesses as a business community?
Sure. Thank you very much. You will find that the person that is affected the most of the time is the person that is on the lowest of the pyramid. Because, for example, the example you have given for industrial area, the people who are not going to get their pay are the people who are on the casual labor, the casual laborers. Because you'll find that the management, or people who are employed in the management, they are paid per month. And if you are not in a position to get to the job, for sure, you'll still be paid because you have a very good and understandable reason. But that casual laborer who gets their pay on a day-to-day basis, those are the people that are going to be affected the most. So when there is this fracas, the people that get hurt the most are the people that are the lowest of the food chain, and those are the people that we need to really protect. Yeah.
What is the message to the opposition as well as to the government?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. My call to the government is to listen to the young people. The young people are crying, and the problem is very simple. We need to align the chain, the distribution chain. You find that at times people that are doing the manufacturing, they manufacture, let's say in India or in China, they come still sell to the people. We need to go back to the chain of distribution which we were used to when we were young people. Like, you know, like if it's a farmer takes their products to ABCD, then ABCD takes it to ABCD, so that we get more people into the job market, because that is basically the problem. If we get people to the job market, for sure the government will have an easy time, because there will be no young people who are going to be used to do the picketing, because everybody will be gainfully engaged, and it's not a lot of money. People are looking for just to have a food on your table. And for the opposition, I also want to encourage them to have a sitting, if it is the interest of the common man, to have a sitting with the president and the government, so that we can come with a solution for the young people. And by so doing, everybody will have a conducive environment for working. And by so doing, we are going to grow our economy. And that is what we want.
Very good.
Yeah.
George Mboro, thank you very much, of course. And we hope that your sentiments will be acted upon.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we hope that the situation will go back to normal, so that the business community can continue to thrive.
Sure.
Asante for joining us. Enjoy your afternoon.
Asante sana.
George Mboro is the CEO of Mrs. joining us here to give us the business community's take on the demonstrations. Well, commuters services in various areas of Kiambu County, including Limuru Town, have been affected by the ongoing protest in Nairobi City. Likana Sacco chairman Kiongo Karinge said most of the passengers are afraid of potential violence from the protest. Drivers are wary of potential damage to their vehicles by protesters. They have called upon Azimio coalition leader Raila Odinga and President William Ruto to solve their differences to avoid more losses.
twaraire ikare okuwase ikare na kukere opposition kadi ikare to
Magari mengi yamelala sababu hakuna wasafiri, barabara ziko sawa lakini hakuna watu wa kusafiri. Kwa hivyo magari imelala pande hii ya Limuru na pande ya Nairobi. Hata pande zingine za Nakuru hakuna wasafiri. Ni wachache sana. Wana hofu kutakuwa na furugu, kwa hivyo hawatembei. Kwa hivyo maandamano imetuadhiri kibiashara sana. Wasiadhiri biashara za watu, wasiadhiri maisha ya watu, sababu kuandamana hata kama ni suluhu, sio suluhu ya mwisho. Kuna njia zingine zinazostahili biashara za wananchi wa kawaida.
Magari imesimama, hatuna nini. Hiyo maandamano hatuungi mkono juu. Kwa ni maandamano itasaidia na mwanadamu. Sisi tuko na hata abiria hakuna. Sisi tunasidi hapa, hakuna kubeba customer, hakuna customer client. Kariza matatu sinatuletea customer kutoka Nairobi, sasa hatuwapati.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, KCCB, has urged opposition leader Raila Odinga to embrace patriotism and call off the ongoing protest.
As a country must decide that we are not going back to that slippery path that leads to violence. Our leaders, let us sit down together as Kenyans. Let us reason together. We cannot allow our country to recede into disaster. We entrust our country to God and to the responsibility of each one of us as Kenyans.
Elsewhere, Eastern Region Police Commander Rono Bunei has warned that police officers in the region will deal firmly with criminals engaging in house burglary. Speaking in his office in Embu, Bunei warned the youths who have been idle due to the ravaging drought to take advantage of the rains that have started to cultivate in their farms. This comes as business operators in Embu town complained of an increase in crime. The Kenya chairman of the National Chamber of Commerce Embu chapter, Mogo Mati, called on the police to act first while calling on business operators to make timely reports to the police and other relevant officers to follow up. The most targeted areas by criminals are studios, garage and M-Pesa shops where owners are counting losses running into millions of shillings.
Some people planning to steal animals from others, but I'm warning them today that we are aware about that. Just try and you'll see. Those elements of young guys trying to involve themselves in criminality, we deal with them accordingly. And for sure, for the last 3 months, this Embu county and other counties, right away from Makueni, Isiolo, Machakos, I think the crime trend has actually gone down, so we don't expect anything more than that.
4 days ago, wezi walistorm, ama they came to my studios, they break, wakaiba cameras, wakaiba equipment za studio, very valuable. Alafu kutoka hapo tukaendelea na investigation na bado hakuna report yote nimepata, though they are well seen on CCTV footage.
Well, time now for sports, where Moi University emerged victorious in the Rift Valley Nationwide Rugby Finals with a hard-fought 27-20 win over Kitale Rugby Club at the Moi University main campus grounds. After a closely contested first, the match went into the breather, Moi University leading by 17-3 in the second half. Kitale Rugby Club scored 2 tries and a drop goal, while Moi University responded with a last-minute try. With this victory, Moi University advanced to the championship qualifiers, where they will face Kilifi Kitale Rugby Club. On the other hand, will host Kibabi University in the championship pre-quarters. On our to UEFA, where Manchester United came from a goal down to beat 9-man Fulham and reached the FA Cup semi-finals with a controversial victory at Old Trafford. United will now play Brighton in the semi-finals at Wembley.
Corner, Pereira, Diop, Mitrovic scores in the FA Cup for the very first time.
Marco Silva's side looked on course for only their second last four appearance since they lost to West Ham in the 1975 final, when their world collapsed around a handball incident 15 minutes from time. Jadon Sancho seemed to be shooting an equalizer into an empty net, only for Willian to charge across and clear. Referee Chris Kavanagh initially gave a corner, but VAR advised the official to check the pitch side monitor, with Willian protesting and manager Silva furious. Silva was red carded before Kavanagh could even reach a decision. Once he did, Willian was dismissed as well. Then Alexander Mitrovic, who had put Fulham in front, became the third visitor to be sent off. Once order was restored, Bruno Fernandes tucked home the penalty.
Well, it's 1-1.